Hello, ladies and gentlemen. And so I figure, what the hell? Since I do videos on here where I go to sites, and take bullshit stories apart and all that, and I figure, why not ramble about the news? That's a idea for a podcast. James rambles about the news. This is episode 1. So I just seen a quote from a CNN article, and it's top story, but I had to click on it. GOP senators in Congress are saying about Donald Trump Jr.'s emails as "quote unquote" sucking oxygen out of the room. I'm not kidding. And when I seen that, I'm thinking to the episode of The Simpsons where Bart gets a driver's license and somebody throws a cigar into the oxygen place, and Krusty's like, "When am I gonna get my oxygen now?" That's why I was thinking. Anyway, I want to read that article because I do find it fascinating what the GOP people think about this whole situation going on. GOP lawmakers on Trump Jr.'s action doesn't help.
For all this is not just the Russia investigation, but the just revealed June 2016 emails from Donald Trump Jr. expressing a desire to meet.
Shut the fuck up, Jake Tapper, because I don't want to. Anyway, Republican lawmakers said Wednesday after they are tired of answering questions about Donald Trump Jr.'s, the revelation that the president's son agreed to meet with a Russian lawmaker after an acquaintance emailed him that the Russian government had damaging information about Hillary Clinton has reverberated through Washington, and some Republicans in Congress said it interferes with their ability to do their job. Quote unquote, it's sucking oxygen out of the room. Everyone knows that, said Arizona Senator John McCain. I think it's very difficult when you have this overwhelming barrage of new information that unfolds every few weeks. I think it's obvious. Well, yeah, it's obvious that something happened, but the way John McCain phrased it is too funny. It's sucking oxygen out of the room. I just find that extremely humorous, the way he phrased it. Lawmakers around the Hill lamented that the conversation was shifted to talking about the interest drip from the administration in its ongoing investigation into the Russian interference in the 2016 election. They noted that the Senate its version of healthcare bill, but the government's funding runs out in September, and they are still trying to pass tax reform. Get back to this Russian possible interference, even if there is or is not. I agree with John McCain. It's a distraction for the Republican Party, but I want to point out something here. Healthcare funds are running out in September. How is it possible to pass a tax reform before then? That makes no sense. Wouldn't it have made more sense? Once again, me just thinking here, wouldn't it have made more sense to pass a tax reform bill within the first 3 months of Trump's presidential administration and then do something with the healthcare bill? Not that I want to see Obamacare get overturned, But, you know, it would make more sense to have done the tax reform first and then get to the healthcare. Because if you would have passed the tax reform first, then you would have been able to pass the healthcare bill after it without having the funds run out in September, if that makes any sense. Anyway, back to the Russian investigation. Now, I did a video on my page here on YouTube where I said that Trump already has the win for 2020. And I said that Bill Maher is exactly right, since Trump has the Congress on his side from the Republicans and some Democrats, that he has the ability to tell them to diverge the conversation and act as if what Russian investigation happened. We don't know what you're talking about. The Democrats are obviously making this up. And he very well is likely to do that and is likely to win the 2020 election because of that. And also, if the Democrats run on identity politics, and in this case, starting in 2017, this year, and running through 2020s, so on and so forth, it's going to be, oh, the Russian investigation, that's going to be the identity politics for the Democratic Party. And note, I am not a Democrat, nor am I Republican, but to the Democrats, if you want to win the elections of 2018 and 2020, drop this Russian interference shit. Leave this up with the media. Don't get involved, because it's going to only backfire on you. I'm saying that as someone who sees where your losses in electoral votes and popular votes are going to continue to go downhill if you keep talking about this Russian investigation. Anyway, getting back to the article. Quote, so a lot of important legislation, and we need to be working and thinking about it, that, said Oklahoma Tim Cole, a member of Republican leadership in the House. Quote, I am not in the business of advising the White House, but I would say as much as you can focus on the things that you need to get done, message on these sorts of things, and try to avoid the distractions. I think that would help us a lot. Unquote. The House is trying to pass a bill to sanction Russia, as the Senate has done, noted Texas GOP Rep. Mike McCall. Now that's interesting. So a couple of things there. Number one, Tim Cole, Oklahoma representative of the Republican Party. I want to mention this to you. While on a technicality, you're right, you're not in the business of advising the White House, since you are not a part of the Trump administration. But yet, you have every right to suggest to Trump and to suggest to his administration what they should do. You have every right to do so. And in fact, that would help the party if you did that. But yet, I find it interesting that the GOP is putting a sanction on Russia, considering that there is more likely a possibility at this point that Russia did interfere with the election. I find this very interesting. I wonder how Trump will react. Quote, it doesn't help, he said. I mean, these things take us off message when the message should be unified. Congress stands up to Russia and Putin. Am I living in some type of upside down world where the Republicans are starting to turn not only on their own party, but on the same guy they didn't have the balls to take down during the election, I'm actually pleasantly surprised, to be honest. This is a quite pleasant surprise. Republicans around the Hill had visible reactions once they went next about the emails, with a variety of responses at the ready. House Speaker Paul Ryan ducked questions in his weekly press conference, saying the Congressional and Justice Department investigators will get to the bottom of the matter. Please stop using words that sound just too funny. That would be in an Onion article. Paul Ryan ducked questions. That makes no sense. You could say he avoided questions, but this sounds like something that would be in an Onion article, the way you phrased it. Some insisted that the deepening scandal at the White House does nothing to affect their work. Once again, something I and Bill Maher had both said. It doesn't interfere at all, said North Carolina Representative Mark Meadows, chairman of the Conservative Freedom Caucus. We're all focused on the agenda, unquote. Fellow Freedom Caucus member, Representative Ted Yoho. Okay. Were these guys was this guy's parents drunk the night that before that he was born? Yoho is something. Yeah. It's not it. How do I put it? It's a pirate call. Yoho, land matey, yoho. It's a pirate call. It's not a name. Representative Ted Yoho of Florida says constituents don't care about Russia, but he acknowledged that it doesn't make life easier. It's a distraction, he said. You know, it's like diving down. It's like driving down the road and you got a Gant flying around. Like, it's like, let's focus on a gnat. It's like a gnat flying around. It's like, let's focus on what we need to do. The bad phrasing was on me. Some responded like Yoho by saying the matter doesn't resonate in their districts while policy does. Quote, they don't interfere with my ability because someone in my district cares about this. They think it's a big nothing burger, said Kentucky Representative Thomas Massey. So I'm reflecting my district by pretty much not paying attention, unquote. Yeah, you should care about this. While technically in the Constitution, it is not illegal for another country to interfere with another country's election, while on a technicality, it doesn't say that it's illegal, but it is still wrong on many levels. It is wrong on the level that when you have another country interfering with the United States election, what the problems emerge from it is that, number one, how much democracy does a country have at that time? How much countrymen, I should say, how much countrymen will adhere to another country's needs, in this case, Russia, instead of their own country's needs, in that case, America? Now, people, these far right-wing Trump supporters, I should say the Trump supporters that don't care about what happened with Russia possibly interfering with this election, you know, you are the reason why people view the country so poorly. You are the reason why Americans, Republicans who didn't vote for Trump or did, but care about what happened, or independents, libertarians, Democrats, so on and so forth, the reasonable people that actually give a shit about this, including myself, we're all seen as crazy people because, you know, we live in the same country as these crazy, radical, right-wing Trump supporters who don't see the problem with another country interfering with our election. We're seen just as crazy as them, even though we're the ones that actually give a shit about what happened. Others took the tack of blaming the media. Yes, because in this case, there's starting to be genuine proof that there was an interference. And when the media does its job, it gets attacked. Go figure. But yet, nobody attacks the media when they don't do their job. When CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, whenever they put out a bullshit story, they never get attacked. But when the media does their job, how dare you tell the truth? Do you see where this is kind of getting fucked up? Because I do. And especially here, it's getting fucked up. Quote, this is like a high level of hypervention over a tiny little thing that has a standalone, it's nothing, said Iowa Representative Stephen King. I don't, quote, I don't think it's a story, and I think the media made it, but I think the media's made it a story. Okay. There's a lot of hype in news. I will agree with you there. There's a lot of hype in news, unwarranted hype. Unwarranted hype. But you use an interesting phrase, phrase it. I think. I don't think. I think. Meaning, implying you don't know shit. I could say, I think there's a meteorite heading for Earth right now. Doesn't have any legitimacy to that, right? Because it's my personal opinion. In your opinion, this is a no big deal. But in my opinion, in most people's opinion in this country, including those who did vote for Trump, this is a big fucking deal. Except for those who are clueless, like you. It's a big fucking deal to everybody else, though. Quote, that's the intent of the news media and the Democrats to make it a distraction instead of focusing on issues of substance like deficit and debt, the debt ceiling, infrastructure, tax reform, border security, said Alabama Representative Mo Brooks. Those issues don't have nearly the ratings draw, but they're issues we have to address. Okay. I just got to point out something to you guys. It's making me laugh. While I agree that there are a lot of Democrats that don't talk about substance, DNC, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, I'm looking at you. Yes, while these types of Democrats don't focus on substance, and there are a lot that do, but they're just silent. But yes, they focus on substance. But there are a lot in the DNC that don't. You're right there. You're right in that case. But deficit and debt, the debt ceiling, infrastructure, tax reform, border security. Okay, let's talk about border security for a second. Border security. Something you want to make worse of by closing the borders. Something that will make us more, I should say, likely to be attacked by another foreign country. Number two, tax reform. What tax reform? You want to give more cuts to the rich, more and more increases to the poor. And that's not tax reform. Reasonable tax reform is when you cut the poor's taxes by 60% and by increasing the rich's taxes by 35%. That is a fair tax reform. But yet both parties aren't going to do that because the Democrats in Congress that don't give a shit about the poor people are just like the Republicans, and they want more tax cuts for them, the rich in Congress. The Democrats are Republicans, and they want more taxes increased on us, the poor. And we're already paying out the ass as much as possible, but I'll do another video on taxes. Infrastructure, something the Republican Party does not give a shit about. You want to cut infrastructure as a government program. That's a pretty stupid idea. The debt ceiling, something you keep increasing because you don't give a shit about the debt. You and the Democrats are one and the same. You spend the money like drunken sailors, not to insult the Navy, but you spend like drunken sailors on leave. All the lawmakers expressed a desire to press ahead with their work and not let the investigation get in their way. Quote, we have to get the job done. It's a crisis week. So we can handle it, said New York Representative Peter King. It shouldn't undercut us. If it does, it's our fault. What happens if the Russia investigation is going to happen? It shouldn't interfere with what we do, unquote. Here's the thing. It is going to interfere with what you do. Longtime Republican Joe Scarborough, who hosts Morning Joe on MSNBC, left the Republican Party because of this shit. He left the Republican Party because of the shit. Joe Scarborough, he strongly believes that the Republican Party should be the party of Lincoln and Theodore Roosevelt, which is the GOP should not see people as a collective, but see people as an individual. Joe Scarborough also believes that the Republican Party should benefit the people in Congress instead of, misrepresenting them and taking them for granted or taking the power away from the people. This is why Joe Scarborough feels that the GOP has ruined the core values of the Republican Party. This is why he's now an independent. Yes, he left the Republican Party to become an independent. He's still conservative in a lot of ways, but he doesn't want to belong to a party that is fucking over the people. Now, it's a black shirt, whatever. Anyway, here's the thing. You, the Republican Party in Washington, not all of you, but most of you, are fucking over the American people. How so? Because, what's your view on food stamps? I'll tell you what your view on food stamps is. You make it pretty clear. Let's take away food stamps from the people that desperately need it. That's your view on food stamps. You know how insulting that is to people? who fucking depend on it? What's your view on homelessness? They're just people with mental problems. That's your view on homelessness. The most of you congressmen and women who are Republicans in Congress, most of you, not all of you, because some of you are actually decent people, but most of you, what you do to the people is despicable. Very, very, very despicable. You essentially say, fuck the poor, praise the rich. Take more money away from the poor and give to the rich. That's what most of you guys do in Congress. You're not fucking ashamed of that? You preach about how Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, but yet you do nothing that he says in the Bible. You do nothing for the poor. In fact, you know, I was religious for quite a while. I'm not anymore. I'm an atheist. But I can recall a lot of the shit Jesus said by memory. And he said something along the lines of, it is easier for a poor man with a camel to get into the kingdom of heaven than a rich man to get through the eye of the needle. He despised rich people. You could say Jesus was a socialist. You could say, that
at my unicycling competitions, kids are throwing balloons full of diarrhea.
Ow! Ow! Where was I? Yeah. You could say that Jesus of Nazareth, the person that you praise, the Republicans in Congress, you could say that he had a decent heart. You could say that he was a big-hearted being that died for what he believed in and that stood for the little man. You don't stand for the little man. And wait. You Democrats don't get off easy in Congress either. There's a lot of you that are like the Republicans that say, we believe in God, we believe in Jesus. But you, like the Republicans, do nothing for the little man. Nothing. If you did anything for the little man, if you did something for the little guy like me, or a person like Susie across the street, so on and so forth, you would actually feel better about yourself. You would feel better about doing your job. Because a lot of the Democrats or Republicans in Congress, nobody wants to say this about them, but they're fucking narcissists. They are one big group of narcissists. They don't give a shit about us. They only give a shit about themselves. Of course, not all Democrats, just like not all Republicans. Anyway. I just want to pull up something real quick. Okay. Greetings, Pastor. So, yeah. I just have to put that out about both parties. But once again, I'm not done with the news. Let's see what other shit happened today. We did CNN. Let's make this progressively worse. Let's go to Fox News. Let's see if there's anything to talk about. Okay. This is something worthwhile. You just have to see this for yourself. I am not kidding you. Kid Rock, Michigan Senate run. Kid Rock. A music professional. A musician. Okay. My feeling about Kid Rock running for Michigan Senate, even though I'm not from Michigan, good hopes for it. Pretty dumb like Trump. Musician Kid Rock a bid for his U.S. Senate in Michigan. In a tweet Wednesday, Rock, whose birth name is Robert James Ritchie, wrote that that the website kidrockforsenate.com was real and to stay tuned for a major announcement in the near future. Those are, I mean, that's a Photoshop of a Kid Rock poster. Republicans in Michigan have reportedly been considering Rock to run on the GOP ticket in 2018 to challenge incumbent Democrat Debbie Stebnow for her seat. Michigan GOP press officer Sarah Anderson told Fox News in February that she was unaware if Rock would run for office for in the Senate, but that she thinks it would be awesome if he did. I wish my iced coffee right now was a big bottle of fucking rum. Idiocracy is a fucking documentary now. You have dumbass Donald Trump in the White House. And now you might have dumbass Kid Rock running for Senate for Michigan to add insult to injury, considering that their border isn't even fucking fixed. You're fucking kidding me, right? You're fucking kidding me. Please tell me this is a joke. Please tell me this is a fucking joke. I want this to be a joke, but unfortunately it isn't. Kid Rock, an outspoken conservative, endorsed Mitt Romney for president during his 2012 campaign. He told The Guardian in 2015 that he's a Republican on certain issues, but leaned towards the middle on many others. Quote, I'm definitely a Republican on fiscal issues and military, but I lean to the middle on social issues. I'm no fan of abortion, but it's not up to a man to tell a woman what to do. As an ordained minister, I don't look forward to marrying gay people, but I'm not opposed to it, Rock said. That's one major fucking contradiction right there. That's a major contradiction. That's a major contradiction. So, if you're not not opposed to marrying gay people, but you're not looking forward to marrying gay people, that's kind of like saying, that's kind of like a Southern conservative Confederate saying, I'm not racist, I just don't like black people. That's like a Black Lives Matter person saying, I'm not racist, I just don't like white people. It's a massive contradiction, what you just said right there. Yes, I agree with you that a man doesn't have a right to tell a woman what to do when it comes to abortion. But here's the thing, though. Really a conservative, truly, if you're on the middle of social issues, you know, you might be right-wing libertarian, but you're definitely not conservative. That's for sure. The singer visited President Donald Trump at the White House in April with former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin and fellow musician Ted Nugent. Oh, Jesus Christ, is this the picture? Oh my God. This is becoming just a fucking radio show sketch. This is becoming a radio show comedy at this point. The polyamorous GOP, starring Ted Nugent, Kid Rock, and Sarah Palin. Oh, Jesus. This is too funny. If Kid Rock is serious about running and wins the Senate seat, he will be the first GOP candidate to win since 1998. Incumbent Stebno has held her seat since 2000. Okay. Seriousness? This is fucking crazy. Kid Rock, who has the ability to play guitar, and I think that's about it, is not qualified to be in the fucking Senate. In fact, you know what? At this point, you know, I think part of the requisite for Congress or Senate should be a college degree in poli-science. If you don't have that, you can't run. It would prevent another Trump win. It would prevent Kid Rock from fucking running. It would prevent anybody from running that doesn't know anything about politics. It would seriously prevent anybody who doesn't know about politics from running. So let's go to another rabbit hole, which I despise just as much, and that's MSNBC. I didn't know this first episode would be so much fucking fun. Kid Rock might run for president, Senate. Republicans in Congress are just dipshits when it comes to this Russian investigation. Rachel Maddow and what? I'm trying to. let's see. Economy news. Finances into the show, shall we? Um, fucking unbelievable. This website just has videos. Just fucking unbelievable. Okay. Obviously, MSNBC to read off news stuff because all they have is fucking videos. See what other rabbit hole. Huffington Post. Let's go with Huffington Post. Huffington Post breaking news, blah, 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 blah. Da, 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 da. HuffPost, Wall Street Journal. U.S. heard Russia chatter before he ran. Yeah, that's exactly what the CNN article was about, blah, 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 blah. Trump's FBI pick said all the right things. I don't believe. What? Wait, what? Trump. Oh, okay. Actually, Trump fired James Comey, and a new guy, the FBI. I'm just curious what this article has to say. Okay. Trump's FBI pick said all the right things. The question will be Christopher Wary indicated that support from FBI agents and federal prosecutors led him to accept nomination to replace Comey.
Now your favorite movies and shows can go all the
In Washington, D.C. When his name was first floated as a potential nominee to replace James Comey as FBI director, Christopher Wray, however, a dilemma familiar to many high-profile Republicans in the Trump era, whether to join the administration of a president who has acted the way he doesn't approve of. Was even more difficult than most. He worked closely with the man Trump unceremoniously fired. He'd have to take over a bureau demoralized by Comey's dismissal, and he'd have to work under a president who doesn't seem to care about the traditional barriers between the FBI. See, out of all the things about Trump, quite terrifying, because Trump basically like the separation of powers part. At his Senate Judiciary Committee confirming at confirmation hearing Wednesday, where he ultimately decided to pursue the job and giving up his multi-million-dollar salary as a lawyer because of his interest in the institution of the FBI and the men and women who work there. Now, if this guy is going to protect the institution as a agency that protects the people, it would actually be a really smart move for Trump to make. There, this would be an accidentally smart move if this guy is who he says or says what he's going to do. Quote, during the time when my name was first released to the media, but before I was asked to take on the position, I got calls from these work with prosecutors that with for and against from different administrations, and the outpouring of support and encouragement I got was both humbling and gratifying, unquote, said Warray. However, he says his name was an attorney general in the George W. Bush administration, quote, I want to do this for those people. Can people, or work for senators and all that who represent them in court and all that? The fucking people for once? Represent the fucking people? Because that would really help a lot. First, there was a question of loyalty. Comey said Trump asked him for loyalty. During an unusual one-on-one meeting at the White House, Warray said he would never agree to that. Good. Well, let's see if he actually sticks to that. Quote, my loyalty is to the Constitution, to the rule of law, and the mission of the FBI, unquote. Warray said, quote, no one asked me for any kind of loyalty oath at any point during this process, and I sure as heck didn't offer one. Highly unlikely that he ever meet with Trump one-on-one. He added that, quote, there isn't a person on the planet who's lobbying influence could persuade a proper investigation. You know what? So far, I'm liking the sound of this guy. This guy doesn't sound like he's a fucking chump. Warray said the support of a bipartisan group of former U.S. attorneys, including former Attorney General Eric Holder and former Acting Attorney General the letter stated that Warray would lead the Bureau with honor, independence, and a tireless commitment to the rule of law. Of Warray backers is that Trump will be replacing Comey with someone who has similar integrity and independent streak. Chris, in so many ways, cut from as James Comey is. Bill Majeda, who worked with the Justice Department, told HuffPost, quote, they have terrific moral compasses and they're very motivated to do the right thing and will do the right thing no matter what. Warray told senators he'd resign before breaking the law on the president's behalf or doing something unethical. The question is whether Trump has learned anything from the accusations of improper efforts to influence Comey. The question is whether Trump will force Warray to make a choice. This guy so far sounds more reasonable than most people Trump could have chose. So props to this guy for not being a fucking chump, or at least I hope he isn't. Anyway, I'm going to conclude this podcast or videocast, whatever. Until next time, the next day. I don't know. Hey, guys.